On a rainy Thursday afternoon, a software analyst named Sarah stood in the lobby of an upscale apartment complex. She had a clean record, a stellar $95,000 salary, and $22,000 in liquid cash sitting in her bank account. She handed over her application fee, fully expecting a call back within an hour. Instead, her phone buzzed with an automated text notification: application denied. The reason? A low credit profile score triggered by an old, forgotten $45 utility bill from college that had migrated into collections 3 years ago. Sarah had the cash, she had the high income, but in the eyes of the digital economy, Sarah didn't exist as a trustworthy human being. She was furious. She thought, I have 20 grand in the bank, why do they care about a $45 mistake? What Sarah didn't realize is a brutal fact about the modern world. The financial system doesn't care about your cash balance, it cares about your track record of obedience. Your cash shows what you've kept, but your credit profile shows how well you follow a lender's structural rulebook. Sarah thought she owned her economic presence. In reality, because she ignored the rules of the grid, her identity was being leased right back to her by a data bureau. And this is the silent baseline tax of the modern world. Most people view credit through a highly emotional lens. They either treat it as a dangerous trap to be avoided at all costs, or they treat it as an extension of their income, a magical plastic card that allows them to live a lifestyle their checking account can't support. Both perspectives are completely wrong. Credit is not a lifestyle choice, and it is not a safety net. Credit is an infrastructure. It is a highly mechanized scoring game that assigns a metric to your reputation. If you don't understand the rules of that metric, you are structurally renting your identity from the banks. We live in a world where hidden economic systems quietly dictate where you can live, what you pay, and how fast you can build true autonomy. If you're tired of playing by rules you were never explicitly taught, hit subscribe, because by the end of this video, we are going to expose the exact engineering behind the credit matrix and show you how to turn this systemic weapon into an absolute wealth multiplier. Let's strip away all the corporate propaganda and look at what a credit score actually is. It's an obedience rating. When a data bureau calculates your FICO score, they are not measuring your wealth. A billionaire who has never taken out a loan and pays for everything in cash can have a completely non-existent credit score. Conversely, a person drowning in $300,000 of structured debt, who makes every single minimum payment exactly on time, can have a perfect 800 score. The system doesn't reward financial independence, it rewards predictable interaction with debt. The score is broken down into 5 precise mathematical levers, and the first 2 control almost the entire game. 35% of your score is purely your payment history. It's a binary tracker. Did you pay on time? Yes or no? 30% is your credit utilization ratio, how much credit you are currently using compared to your total available limit. If you have a $10,000 limit and you consistently carry a $9,000 balance, the algorithm flags you as high risk, assuming you are starving for liquidity. When you maintain an unengineered, low credit score because you don't believe in the system, you aren't hurting the banks. You are paying them a massive, invisible premium on everyday life. Let's look at the true cost of a bad score through a standard purchase like a $35,000 car loan. Individual A has an excellent score of 760. Because they are flagged as highly predictable, the bank grants them an interest rate of 4.5%. Individual B has a poor score of 620 because of missed utility bills. The bank views them as high risk and slaps them with an interest rate of 14%. Over a 60-month loan, Individual A pays roughly $4,000 in total interest. Individual B pays over $13,000 for the exact same vehicle. That is a $9,000 penalty for having an unmanaged identity. Individual B has to work extra hours, trade more of their finite time on Earth, and sacrifice their savings, not to buy a better car, but simply to pay a penalty tax for failing to understand the scoring system. And it doesn't stop at car loans. A poor score multiplies your insurance premiums, forces you to pay massive security deposits on utilities, and keeps you locked out of premium housing options. You are paying a lifestyle tax every single day. Quick favor before we look at how the wealthy flip this exact matrix to access millions of dollars of zero-cost capital. If this breakdown is changing how you view data bureaus, hit the like button. It takes 1 second, it's completely free, and it tells the algorithm that creators should deliver actual math instead of consumer fluff. Now, let's look at what happens when you decide to master the architecture of the system. This is where you stop renting your identity and start weaponizing it. The wealthy do not use credit to buy depreciating liabilities they can't afford. They use credit as an optimization tool. When a high net worth individual uses a premium credit card, they are using the bank's short-term liquidity for free. They keep their own liquid cash sitting in yield-bearing assets, earning 5% or 9% interest, while utilizing 30-day float windows on the card at 0% cost. They never carry a balance, they never pay a single dime of interest, and they force the financial institutions to subsidize their travel, their insurance, and their security protections. They turn a predatory trap into an administrative assistant that works for free. So how do you transition from being the prey to becoming the architect? You implement the 3 non-negotiable rules of the identity playbook immediately. Rule number 1. Automate your statement baselines. Since payment history is 35% of your score, a single missed payment can drop your rating by over 100 points instantly. Go into every single account today and set up an automatic routing rule to pay the minimum balance due or the statement balance every month on autopilot. Your brain should never be responsible for remembering a bill date. Automate the safety switch so the algorithm never registers a lapse. Rule number 2. Force an artificial utilization ceiling. Never let your reported balances exceed 10% of your total credit limit. If you have a credit card with a $5,000 limit, your statement balance should never read higher than $500 when it hits the data bureau. If you need to make a large purchase, pay the balance down asterisk before asterisk the statement closing date occurs, not the payment due date. This keeps your optimization ratio pristine in the eyes of the grid. Rule number 3. Treat credit cards as a mirror, not a loan. If you do not have the physical cash currently sitting in your checking account to buy an item today, you do not use the card. Period. No exceptions. The card is simply a high-security visual pipeline between your checking account and the merchant. It is never a mechanism to pull future earnings into today's consumption. The matrix we live in relies on your financial illiteracy to generate its highest profits. It wants you to stay confused, stay defensive, and treat credit as an enemy so it can quietly drain your capital through hidden premiums and structural rejections. But now you know the underlying blueprint. Your financial identity is a metric that can either be managed by you or exploited by a lender. Stop leasing your reputation from a data bureau. Secure your baseline, automate your rules, and step completely out of the way. If you've watched this far and realize your credit footprint has been leaking money through high premiums, fix the routing switches today. Clear the old marks, automate the statements, and let the system work for your balance sheet instead of against it. And if you want to understand the exact mechanics behind how we take dry structural financial systems and transform them into highly scannable, engaging video frameworks like this one, we break down our entire asset pipeline step by step inside our private school community for faceless content creators. The link is right below in the description. There's no pressure, it'll be there whenever you're ready to build your own digital real estate. This isn't financial advice. It's just the raw structural math that the banking grid is relying on, you never calculating for yourself. Take what's useful, leave the rest, and drop a comment below letting me know if you're currently building your identity metric or renting it. I'll see you in the next video.